when my first escrow office win, and she called me for $250, right, signing, I flipped that and I called up one of my sorority sisters.
If someone knows what they want and they know that you have it, then what's left to agree upon? When can you come? That's the question I'm wondering.
Let's talk about Notary.
I'll give an example of what that looks like in the Notary.
Fascinating. From the international best-selling author Tiger Toledo, The Rise of the Smart Notary. The notary business will never be the same again. This book is designed and engineered to help notaries cash flow their business. And as a #1 new release on Amazon and hit the top 5 bestsellers list, this is the perfect gift for this holiday season. Buy one now for yourself and a fellow notary public. Available now on Amazon. Grab your copy today. And if this book doesn't make you money, you can block us.
If you're feeling the vibe, join the tribe and subscribe.
That was good. Okay, go. Get out of here. Peace, peace, peace. This is your international sales and marketing hitman, your humble hip-hop sales coach, Tiger Toledo. And you already know what it is, man. You rocking with the best. You heard?
Fascinating.
Yes, sir.
So
hey, look, I'm on the phone. I'm on the phone hotspot now, so
okay,
we can do a video if we need to.
Oh, it's up to you, bro.
Let's do it. Hey, man, look, let's do it. You done have me all over Instagram and doing flyers and stuff. I can't disappoint now.
I'll put you out there, man. Okay, all right, there you go.
Let's do it, bro.
All right, cool.
There we go. There we go. What's up, man?
I love this, man. I got to tell you guys, man, I'm loving the Notary War Room. It's been a lot of fun. I didn't know I would have this much fun doing it, but it's been really, really cool. So I'm proud to announce that this gentleman that you see right here, this is actually the voice. Like for those that have bought the Rise of the Smart Notary Audible book, which actually hit #1 new release. You seen that, right? I know I sent that to you, right, Donald? It hit #1 new release on Amazon. I mean, it beat some big names. And this is the voice. This is the man right here that narrated the whole entire book, man. Like, so introduce yourself, brother.
Man, I'm really honored, man. Like I'm really honored because I know your story, your hustle, your grind, and so like to see you now come into this space of live content and you know seeing the audiobook do what it's done, man. Like it's dope. But anyway, so my name is Donald Gadson Jr., man. I'm also known as Donald the Voice. I am a husband of one, dad of one. But full-time, man, voice.
You said a husband of one.
Talent. And so, hey man, these days you got to be a little more specific, you know what I'm saying? So
okay.
But yeah, man. And so I've actually been doing voiceover now for full-time almost 2 years. Did it on the side for 8 years. And I got a chance to hear a little bit about what you were talking about, man, as far as sales and marketing and logos and making your business entity legal, and how whenever you pull a trigger and you make it your main thing, it's time for you to really show what you're made of. And so
indeed,
I'm excited, man. I'm excited to kind of talk to you about that journey. Yeah, man, it's good to be with you. Brother Villar.
Let's get this, man. Let's get it.
What's up, man?
Okay, so let's get right into it. Okay, what did you do before you started doing voiceover?
For almost 9 years, I was a middle school teacher. And so I came out of college. Yeah, came out of college with a psychology degree, and then I went and got a master's in family and youth ministries. And so pretty much that's like a combination of a youth minister / like nonprofit teacher, if you will. And so it kind of combined like both of those worlds. And so I found myself after 3 years of doing some nonprofit work here in Orlando, I found myself teaching, man, at a private school here in Orlando, Florida, where my average class size was about 13 kids. And I really enjoyed it, man. I enjoyed it a lot. But I found myself in 2018, like, okay, there has to be something different. I like it, I'm enjoying it, but I know that there's a whole lot more in me. And so I have been doing voiceover on the side for, like I said, 8 years. And you know what I'm saying, like, you know, it'll pull in an extra, you know, in between 15 to 20 grand a year, you know what I'm saying, an extra, you know, 1,500, 1,700 bucks a month. Some months it was, you know, upwards of 2 to 3 grand. But I was like, you know what, if I don't do it now, I'm not gonna do it, you know, and I'm gonna live a life that is comfortable, you know what I'm saying, where you have a salary coming in, benefits, you know what I'm saying, you kind of have your plan of like, you know what, my daughter's gonna go to school here. We bought our home, you know what I'm saying, like here, like in the area, like literally 10 minutes away from the school. And so things were kind of chugging along, man. We kind of had our plan in place. But I really had to face, man, you know what, if I don't do it now, I'm not gonna do it, and I'm not gonna be able to look myself in the mirror knowing that I had an opportunity to really bet on myself, and I was scared, you know what I'm saying? And so long story short, I resigned from teaching in 2018. I went back in 2019 because I was scared.
Sure. Yeah, it's a scary thing.
100%, man. And so so I went back for another year. And that last year, honestly, Tiger, man, that last year was tough, man, because I knew that my time was up, and I knew that it was time for me to transition into what I'm doing now. But I was afraid, and I overthought the process, and I didn't really truly believe that I could do it. You know what I'm saying? And so that really turned into like having a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety, a lot of anger. Because like whenever you know that like you should be doing something else, you could be angry at people, or you know, frustrated, or whatever the case is. But it's nothing like knowing that, yo, like this is your fault. You know what I'm saying? And so, so yeah, man. Pull the trigger.
Glad you said that. Let me ask you that before we unpack the rest. A lot of entrepreneurs deal with high level, you know, especially, you know, high performance. You're going to deal with a lot of high level of anxiety, stress. You'll wind up taking it out on your loved ones, right? How did you deal with that? You know, because notaries on here, like the notaries on here, I like to consider them like the Notary 300, right? Like you remember the movie 300 with the Spartans and everything? So I like to consider everybody that comes to the notary war room, like we're ready, clack, clack, let's go, right? We're ready to put in work. And sometimes they're going through a high level. Some people are in real estate where they have to deal with these loan closings and printing out documents and running to all these different places. And it can get very stressful. How did you deal with your stress, anxiety, and you know, family life at the same time?
Oh man, yeah. So that's where the story gets interesting. So, like I said, man, like I was afraid, and I think that fear drove me into a place where I tried to recreate my results faster. So I had a couple of credit cards that had high interest rates, and I started buying courses and buying equipment and, you know, paying for advertising and stuff like that, because I thought that the results was something that was going to be a key that I could like turn, and it will be, you know what I'm saying, like kind of like almost like the magic bullet, you know what I'm saying? Okay, like if I just get this one thing, then that'll unlock the results, right? And the results were already there, right? Like I said, I have been pulling in, you know what I'm saying, 1,800 bucks a month extra, you know what I'm saying? That was kind of just like our little extra spending money. So the proof of my actual talent, you know what I'm saying, me being able to do it was there. I just had to double down and really be able to do it full time. That was me doing it maybe on average 15 to 20 hours a week, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, bro, like what would happen if you literally work this thing 65, 70 hours a week, where you audition like somebody would audition, where you actually like put yourself out there and you actually market it like someone who's in business. So to get back to the main answer is this, man. The way that I dealt with it was I spent more. I spent more. Now, the issue was that, you know, up until this point, my wife and I were completely debt free, like no credit card debt, no consumer debt, no car debt, no nothing. The only debt we had was our mortgage up until this point. So in about like a 12 to 15-month time span, I racked up about $20,000 in credit card debt, which set us back. So to answer your question, the way that I dealt with it was, one, I was operating in fear, but my fear drove me to go back on a value system that I really found out later really was like the key to my freedom, right? I think that a lot of entrepreneurs, they don't know how much it takes just to live. Like, what's going to cover your bare necessities? Okay. Because then your business isn't going to be put in a place where it's like, yo, if I don't make this, you know what I'm saying, this sale, this commission, you know what I'm saying, my light's just going to be off, or we're not going to be able to eat, or, you know what I'm saying? That's a different kind of pressure. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs don't talk about that, man. Like, if you are in a situation where just the pressure of that, of you having to just like be able to pay for your necessities is contingent upon your business, I think that it adds a lot of anxiety and a lot of pressure that I feel like is unnecessary. But man, oh man, if you are free and clear, and literally like what you make is able to cover your expenses, and then you can really get creative. Okay, like, how do I now scale this? Now you can come from a more, I won't say pure place, but your intentions are more like, it's just more clear because it's not tied to the result, but you can focus on the process. You know what I'm saying? You can really become obsessed with the process. And I look at how, in my first year of business, once we cleared out that debt, and honestly, my marriage suffered because of that, you know what I'm saying? And grateful to the day, like, we're together, you know what I'm saying? Things are intact. But bro, like we went through a period where it was looking a little shaky. It was looking really shaky. And so to your point, man, like a lot of entrepreneurs, their friendships suffer, their relationships suffer, their health suffers. And I feel like, man, in order to really come to business in a place where you're really able to serve people well and offer a lot of value, where people feel like, like, wow, this person is really over delivering, I feel like you have to take care of yourself first. And I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs, including myself at one time, we don't know what's wrong because we're so focused on the grind, you know what I'm saying? But I think a lot of times the grind is attached to really not knowing what it takes for us to just have our needs taken care of. And then now we can really focus on the art of the business. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense. And it's funny that you say that because before I made that leap, so like my wife is a teacher, right? Was a teacher and double masters and all of this other stuff. And I was more of that. How can you say like a Viking when it came to like business, right? Give me the mallet, crush the head. You know what I mean? It's like, where's the food? Where's the buffalo and dinosaur for me to just kill and bring to the family? And it wasn't until, she was like, hey, if you're going to be doing this full time, you're going to have to budget, right? And it wasn't until like, I was thinking my budget was something crazy. But when I really got down to the brass tacks of thing, I really didn't need that much to live on for me, my wife, and the family, right? So I'm like, hold up.
There you go.
Like, that's it? And then just like what you did, we started knocking down the debt first because we didn't want that extra stress plaguing because when you're in a desperate situation, you start taking advantage of people, right? So didn't want to do that. I've understood it, rolled it out, and then eventually quit the job and then was able to, start doing the way I do business now. It's like, hey, if you get it, great. If you don't get it, it's okay too. That's no problem. We got to keep trucking. So let me ask you this question though. The fear. Now this is something I believe that a lot of us do not unpack enough because whatever your situation is, wherever you grew up in life, I know I grew up in a very tough neighborhood in Brooklyn, New York, around the 80s when crack hit my neighborhood. My brother was addicted to crack. I saw the effects of it. It tore families apart. So I have in my own mind the fears that I go through, right? Yeah. What do you feel that was your fear that was inhibiting you that actually made you run back to the job, right?
Yeah.
And then say, like, this ain't right. Like, I need to get out of my own head to build this kingdom, this empire. Yeah. What do you think that fear was?
Yeah, so I think a lot of my fear was tied to my identity being wrapped up in my work. And especially, I mean, men, what I'm saying? I mean, we're like we're created to go hunt and get it done, right? Now, that's the language that I give to it now. But I look at, man, like, wow, a lot of my experience of fear was like, wow, okay, I don't want to leave this teaching gig because I find a lot of significance in this. And like I said, my marriage at the time was not the best. So it's like, yo, my work became a distraction from the personal development that I had to do just on some man stuff. Like I really had to man up in a lot of ways that I didn't want to face. You know what I'm saying? And I think that a lot of times, especially from men in business success, we can say, yo, like if I can get this amount of money, or if I can grow my business to this particular point, then that means this about me, or that says something about like who I am. Now, to a degree, like that is true. Like game, no game. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't just build something by being a scrub, right? But I think that whenever we exchange like who we are like internally for external results, and we say, yo, like I am this thing, then that's whenever things become really, really weird, right? So the fear for me was, I don't know how to let go of this identity that I've had since, you know what I'm saying, like since I came out of college as like this servant teacher dude, you know what I'm saying, that's tied to, being well connected in the community, you know what I'm saying, being this great teacher, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
I don't know how to let that go and now just be a regular dude building a business who's a husband and a dad. Like it really messed with me. Like, yo, like what is, like, who am I now? Who am I? You know what I'm saying? And so I think the fear for me was really a identity crisis. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of had to go back to like, yo, like, first of all, bro, like, yo, just know that like that you are just like created to be somebody who has like an infinite amount of potential. You know what I'm saying? Like just because of like literally like you being alive, like you have the potential to be whatever you set your mind to, right? Like let's start there, right? And then it was like, okay, then the rebuilding process was able to begin, was okay, all right, cool. So like my value isn't tied up into what I do, but it's really tied into who I am. And I'm gonna bring whoever I am to whatever I do. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm on the inside a person who is, like you said, bro, a person who is trying to get over on people and I'm insecure and whatever, like that's gonna come out, whether I'm a teacher or whether I'm a businessman or a businesswoman, you know what I'm saying? And so yeah, man. So for me, the fear was tied to identity for sure.
So when you discovered and you knew the root of it, because I suffered with that too, I said these jobs did a number on me because like I completely had an employee mindset, right?
100%.
And you cannot really grow a team in a business with that employee mindset, because you're I guess like for us, we serve, right? Which comes easy for us because we want to be a humble servant to whoever we're working for. But what happens when you're working for yourself? Like there's this conflict, like I'm the boss, but then I'm an employee. I'm a boss and I'm an employee. And it's like they're fighting with each other. And so how did you get past it? Was there certain books that you were reading? Was there certain programs you were listening to, audio books, coaching? Like how were you getting past that?
Yeah. So one of the biggest things that I had to dive into was, well, for one, I went back to a book. Think and Grow Rich is like, it's just known as like the book of all books in terms of subconscious mind and personal development, right? I went back to that and I really began to like really like journal and sit with like, okay, like what's like the program that's like playing in my mind about like what it means to be like, just to be, you know what I'm saying? Like what is it, right? Back to identity, right? So then I think the next thing that I had to really journey through was, okay, I need to figure out, okay, like what is my business going to be? Because it's kind of okay, like voiceover, you know what I'm saying, narration, like commercials, yada yada yada. But like, what's at the heart of that business? At the heart of that business is communication. Like, are you able to, whether I do a voiceover or not, are you able to properly communicate a message, right? Are you able to like, do you really respect that as far as like an art form, right? So then I went into a book that is called The Power of the Subconscious Mind. Dr. Joseph, can't remember his name right now, his last name, but in the book, man, he talks so much about how obviously, thoughts are things, you know what I'm saying? Or things are thoughts, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I begin to see how we're like, wow, um, in business, I'm not going to be able to go from an employee mindset to a business mindset unless I begin to really see myself as the person who generates like the provision, you know what I'm saying? And so sometimes provision isn't necessarily money, but it's a connection, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like our OG is Andre Hatchett, right? Andre C.
Yeah.
Hatchett.
Shout
And
out to Andre.
you know what I'm saying? Like, and in my first couple months of business, Dre and I connected just like through like a mutual group that we were in. And he was like, "Hey man, like, do you do videos?" And I was like, I mean, I kind of have some video editing experience, but like my main thing is voiceover. But I began to remember, oh, like, wow, I'm a communicator. So if you take my ability to communicate, and now all I have to learn is the skill of video editing, it's just another skill that I had to learn. But like in my heart of hearts, I'm a communicator. I've taught for not doggone 9 years. Before that, I've done youth ministry. You know what I'm saying? So like I'm used to speaking and and sharing and stuff. So but like in terms of like the actual channel of communication, you just give me the tools and I'm gonna be able to bring out the message or whatever I gotta bring out, right? And so I think for me, man, like a big thing was being held accountable to that skill set. Because a lot of us think that like, yo, like I'm a notary or like this is what I do. But the reality is that like you take a lot of stress off of people. You know what I'm saying? Like the fact that you get a chance to show up every single day and you are the conduit through which like they get a chance to, whether they're like closing on a house or they have a really important document that they need to be notarized. You're the person who actually like relieves that stress of the legality. You know what I'm saying? Like like you are the bridge builder. You know what I'm saying? And so you just happen to be the person who has all of the legal knowledge and and everything else that a notary brings to the table. But when you begin to see yourself as like, wow, I'm a bridge builder, and I show up as a person who takes this like whatever that important juncture is that the person is at that needs your service, like you embody that. You know what I'm saying? And so I think, man, I think so many times we can be like, oh, okay, like I do real estate, but it's like no, bro, like because of how we're created, man, like we have a lot of power. You know what I'm saying? And so how we choose to define ourselves, man, it can really help us or it can hurt us. You know what I'm saying? So that was a long answer, but
I love it.
I think in like for me in summation, man, it was like, yo, like, bro, who are you? And then are you being held accountable to your ability? Like accountability, if you break it down, is like accounting for your ability. And so for me, in a lot of ways, bro, like I was not accounting for my abilities in the past, but I was like, you know what? I really had to start to account for my ability. And a big part of that was what I was taking in and how I saw myself. So,
there's something you said that I love, man, is that you, on the surface layer, narration, voiceover, and all, these other titles that's attached to it, right? But you were able to look a few levels deeper and understand that it stems from communication.
There you go.
Now, if I call myself a great communicator, it is my job to look at every medium, right? Where it comes to making videos, that is a way to communicate with the audience, whether it's a voiceover, whether it's a podcast, whether it's a commercial, whether it's a TV show trailer. All of these areas of communication, I have to explore them in order to be more well-rounded. Wouldn't you say?
That's right, 100%. And I think that requires a level of humility of being like, I don't know, and I have to be willing to pay my dues, right? So you talked about the book earlier, right? That we worked on together, and one of the things was like, as I listen back, I'm like, this is pretty good, but like, I'm not where I was then as a narrator. I've grown, and I think this is the number one thing that I feel like hold a lot of people back. They're afraid to be critiqued. They're afraid to be critiqued, or they're afraid to fail, right? And so by the time you and I connected on the book, Tiger, like I had already done it up until that point, like 3 or 4 different audiobooks, right? But after that point, I've done almost another 13 or 14. And so what I had to realize was, to your point, no matter what medium I'm using in terms of like my skill set, I have to respect the fact that a message is being communicated. So whether we're talking notary and the history of notaries, you know what I'm saying, that you allude to in the book, whether we're talking about the systems and processes that you have to set up as a notary in the book, I have to say this in a way that is, and again, it can be narrated, but if I don't say it a certain way, the listener isn't going to be able to hear it a certain way. And therefore, it's going to be a block. And what Tiger intended for the message to be, I'm not going to be doing my best to help that to come across. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So the communication piece, man, is so important. 100%.
And I'm proud to say, like right now with sales, we've already sold 115, bro.
Wow.
115 copies of. So your voice is like just all over the place right now, right? Awesome. Which is awesome.
Yeah.
You know, I always tell people, like, I'm not a notary. Like, I solve problems. That's what I do. I just happen, my medium is this damn stamp.
That's right.
Right. But we, as a notary, we tend to brush off or there is this, how can I say, man? There's this expectations for a notary, right?
Yeah.
Where they expect you to be so cookie cutter professional, like I can't curse, like fuck. Look, listen, I just said it, right? But oh my God, he's a notary, he cursed. Somebody report him to the Secretary of State. No, like we should still be able to be ourselves. The people that are calling you that need your help, they're not calling a robot. They're calling, they want to talk, there's a problem that they need solved. They need another human being on that phone to talk to them, be like literally, when somebody calls my phone, I will tell them, what's going on? Tell me what's going on. I'm asking them because I want to see what they see.
Yeah.
Like, what is the problem? My mom is in the hospital. She just had a stroke. We need the power of attorney because the doctor won't allow us to access the medical files and stuff. You know what I mean? I want to be there. Put me in that place. That way I can handle and steer you in the right direction, even if it's not with my company.
That's right.
I'll direct you to somebody else.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think it's great because when you look beyond the surface layer of these titles, like the notaries, a notary signing agent, or a voiceover, or a narrator, or a notary public, and you look deeper into it and feel that core, kaboom, magic happens.
100%. 100%. Yeah.
No, you said you've been doing 30. So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Keep going. I mean, I had a question. You said something that's so important, man. Like whenever you humanize business, I'm just convinced, man, that like your earnings are going to skyrocket because then you take the pressure off, man. You just do. I mean, yes, there's systems and processes, and and we have to market and all those different things, man. But when you realize like, yo, like on the other side of this transaction is a person.
Yeah.
And when people, like you said, when people feel that in their gut, bro, like closing.
Yeah.
Closing comes easy. Like when you see like, yo, like, okay, yo, bro, like, or say like, I want to help you win. I want to see this like done for you, even if I'm not the person to receive the payment for it. Can you like think about the number of referral? Yeah, it's genuine. You know what I'm saying? So people will refer you out all day. You know what I'm saying? Like
I'll give you a story that happened today, actually. This happened today. Now, I've been marketing my business as the power of attorney experts, right? Notary experts, because that's where I get the most fulfillment, is actually helping families navigate through a lot of this bull crap that's going on.
Absolutely.
So a lady called me this morning and she said, you guys do power of attorneys, right? I said, yes. She said, I want your services. And I said, okay, let me give you a price. I don't care what the price is. I want you guys to handle it. That comes from like you are doing what you're supposed to do.
100%, man.
Now, can I charge the lady more? Hell yeah. But that wasn't my concern. It was like, all right, let's figure out what's going on with you first.
Right.
Let me show you why we're the best at this shit.
Right.
And
right.
she was just like, I kid you not, bro. I send her the invoice. She paid that thing in like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
She did not care.
Yeah.
Because why? Her pain was much greater than the actual money. The money wasn't shit. So I want you guys to understand this. Everybody that's on this notary war room right now, when the pain is great, the money is insignificant.
That's right.
It's like needing heart surgery, and then you're trying to figure out how much you're going to pay this doctor that has a 99% success rate to work on your heart. And you're like, you know what? The guy that got a 43% rate, he's a little bit cheaper though. You know, I might want to go with him instead.
I don't think so. Yeah. You may want to rethink that. You're right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, don't ration out that type of stuff. When the pain is greater, it's like, all right, put on your fireman hat, your fireman suit. Let's go right into the fire and see what's going on, and let's extinguish it.
100%, man. I love it. I love it. I think that's am I still here? Yeah.
Yeah. You still here,
cool.
bro?
Yeah, man. Like it's you know, what you said, like people's pain points. I think that again, man, like we dehumanize business where it's like, okay, like it's about whatever the service or whatever the product is. But we know that like it's about you changing people's state. Before somebody comes to you, they have a certain thing that they want relieved. Yeah. And obviously in my world, this is where like marketing can be a little manipulative. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like if you know people's pain points, bro, like I mean you can do well, right? Yeah. But I love what you said, man, about, you know, the example you gave, because it's like she arrived to you ready because she's like, yo, I don't care what it takes. And then at that point, the monetary value, like you said, becomes actually, it's not nothing to her. I don't think. I think it's like, she's like, yo, like that's a whole lot less value to me in terms of what I'm going to get like from that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because now what I'm getting now is so much more of value than this. Of course, I'll pay this in 5 seconds because what I'm gaining is like it's a breath of fresh air to her, right? Yeah. And so, but yeah, man, I mean, I love it, man, because we're in different worlds, and you know what I'm saying, in terms of like more like the media space. You know what I'm saying? You're more, you know, doing what you do with the legalities and everything, but it's like what connects us together, man, is this mutual human experience, man. And so if you know people, bro, you're gonna do well in any kind of business.
And you know, like one of the things that I liked when I was working with you is that it was a 2-step process. You didn't give me a whole bunch of shit to do, dude. Like it was like you market yourself well, right? And then when I saw you was rocking with, you know, our OG Andre Hatchett, right? I was like, oh shit, if Andre rocks with him, I'm gonna rock with him. Yeah. So, and then it was like, you know, you did not hesitate when it came to, like, a lot of notaries are scared to give out their prices, right? Or maybe they're afraid of giving a high price, feeling that like, oh my God, like they're not worth it. Like, no.
Right.
Know your value, right?
100%.
Know your value. And you made the process so easy. I always tell people this, man, it's like, I've been in marketing for like, you know, almost 10 years now. And the more I do marketing, the more I realize I don't know shit about marketing, right?
So true, bro.
I really do not base my marketing off of the ideas and thoughts that I have in my own head. I wait for the world to tell me what they want.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, if you say, hey, if I put out a masterclass, like I just did a masterclass last month, Power of Attorney masterclass. If nobody bought it, then I'd be like, man, there's two things. People who don't want it,
yeah,
or I'm not marketing it correctly. It's sold out, right? So I was like, okay, there is a need for it. Let me roll it out again.
Yeah.
So that is the best way to find out, is like feedback, like you said earlier, feedback, the criticism, ask for it. Ask for it. Look for the person that shoots you down and chews you out is giving you the most valuable information.
Yeah.
Because they're actually taking that time out to
actually critique you, right? So, yes. And this is so fun because if you go to the audiobook listing on Audible, you're going to see a review, and the lady's like, the narrator is a little monotone, and he should have reread the thing multiple times, yada yada yada. But it's like, if from her perspective, that's true, right? Now I can take that two ways. I can be like, yo, well, the whole project was a wash, or I can say, okay, how can I get better? Like, what was it about my delivery where she felt like I was more monotone? Now, like we just said, 100 and how many people have bought the audiobook?
115.
So okay, 115 other people have bought it and have gained some kind of value from it, right? And you have other reviews under that. But I'm like, yo, okay, I'm not gonna get salty about that. But it's like, what can I learn about it? But what's so crazy is that if you want to do anything publicly, it's like, that's what you open yourself up to. You know what I'm saying? And if you're not a student of that game, then like it's just not for you. And that's just business, like across the board. You know what I'm saying? It's business across the board. And so I love that, man, because that having security and, like you said, your pricing, I think that comes with time. And I think it comes with time because, having done voiceover before doing it full time for 8 years, I realized like, wow, I really didn't respect the craft to charge a certain amount. I did it, right? And the more that I began to respect the craft, and the more that I began to respect the people who do amazing work, it's like, you know what, man, like, I'm worth this because this is the amount of time I put into it. And I'm also worth this because of the person that you're getting. You're not just getting like, hey, yo, like Donald, the guy who delivers on the narration or whatever the case is, but you're getting the person who makes it an easy 2-step process. You're getting the person who's like, yo, here's how things are going. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I see that the audiobook, like, hey, is it up? Or hey, do you need me to do it? Like, you're getting a full, like, A to Z, like, complete process here. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that with a lot of people in business, man, I think that sometimes we cheapen ourselves because we don't believe, like you said, that we're worth it. But then also, I don't think that we've really respected what business is. And I think that whenever you respect what business is, you'll charge accordingly, because you realize, yo, there are people who are going to be, quote unquote, like under me in terms of my price range, but then there are going to be some people who are pricing more than me. So if I can find a medium, it's really respecting everybody in the game. But like, if I'm the guy who's driving the price down, or if I'm the guy who's like, yo, I'm gonna charge this much because I don't want to deal with yada yada yada, then it's like, hey, that's your choice to make. But just know that, like, that again, man, like, this is a collective experience. And so if you have a notary who's charging 4 times of what Tiger charges, okay, like, we have to ask why. And also, is he converting on that? Or is he posturing himself to have a certain kind of clientele because he only wants one client a week? You know what I'm saying?
Indeed.
You know what I'm saying? Like, why? Like, why?
Oh,
right?
you cracked it there.
Or the person who's charging less, why are they doing that? Is it because they want more, or they want more volume? Or is it because, you know what I'm saying, like, they just literally don't have the bandwidth to do excellent work, to where they may have to spend an extra hour or two doing something that is more like labor intensive. You know what I'm saying? So I think, man, it's just perspective.
Dude, that is, man, you just depicted my free webinar that I do every single month. I do it once a month. I always ask this question. I say, who do you want to be in the notary industry? Do you want to be Walmart, or do you want to be Target? Those are 2 different companies. One is more price driven, which is, like you said, the one with the lower price and everything, just want to do a lot of value. And then one is more value driven, where you're going to get some exclusive products that you probably won't get anywhere else, but you're going to pay a premium for it. So Target wants less customers, but a higher profit margin.
That's right.
Versus Walmart just wants to unload as much product as possible. That was fantastic, bro.
Right.
Listen, because I was saying to myself, I was like, man, I'm gonna leave it open to the universe, to the world, the way this conversation is gonna happen. I knew it was gonna be fantastic.
That's the best way.
this is priceless information, because you get to see inside of a different industry And you can actually take that same type of business model and apply it into the notary business. And that's why we call it the notary war room. You have to look at all the terrains. You have to look at the hill. You have to look at the valley. You have to look in the ocean. You have to look, like when you look at the military, they're not just on the ground. They got drones. They got, firefighters. I mean, fighter jets. They're in space. They're underground. They got submarines. We have to look at everything. Look at the whole body of this thing. Right. In order to strike effectively. I love what you just said, bro. Yes, Thank you so much.
100%, man. 100%.
Add more, please.
Even on that, Tiger, I would say this. I would say, there is, in my opinion, now again, I'm only 2 years full-time into this, right? So I'm speaking as someone who's fairly new as a full-time entrepreneur. So I'm gonna just talk real numbers. So let's say teaching, I pulled in no more than, let's say, 38 grand a year, right? And my first year in full-time business, I doubled my salary. Now, here's why I believe that happened. There was nothing off the table for me. So if you go to Fiverr, I have a profile on Fiverr.com to do voiceover, right?
Yes.
I have my retainer clients that I have monthly. I also have my audiobook clients that I'm not doing 7 of those a month, but I may be doing 1 to 2 of those a month. You know what I'm saying? Which are higher ticket because I'm putting in 30 to 40 hours total on a hour or 2 hour like completed project, right? But I think that, especially in the age of social media and the internet, man, like the question that I'm always asking is this, because I work with, influencers and people who have, platforms or whatever. I'm always asking, okay, so your business and revenues did, let's say, $500,000 or whatever, like some kind of online store you have or whatever, your coaching business or whatever. But again, back to what I said at the beginning, what is your life cost? What are your truest expenses? And in the digital world, maybe you don't have a whole lot of overhead, but you're probably paying a whole lot in ads, right? So how much of that are you actually keeping? Like, what's your true net? Like for real, right? And I'm finding that in my conversations, the margins aren't as large as we think that they are. And so I think that when people look at a notary, it's like, oh, you only made $85 for 20 minutes of your time. It's like, when we actually break this thing down, I'm actually doing a little bit better in terms of my average transaction amount. You know what I'm saying? Because what I'm doing is with a doggone stamp. I like stamp in my knowledge and my gas, and I'm gone.
Yeah.
Right. And there's a lot of honor in that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I think that, for those of you who are listening, man, like I just want to say, like be encouraged, because flashy sometimes can seem like, oh, like that person's winning or they're successful.
Yeah.
But flashy don't always mean profitable. It just doesn't. And so sometimes, man, like getting down like in the grind, quote unquote, in the grind, or doing something that's like less flashy, man, I think a lot of times, man, it does have a whole lot more margin, because there's something that you're doing that people don't want to do, and there's a whole lot more opportunity. You know what I'm saying? And so yeah, man, that's kind of struck me as you were talking, man.
It comes down to like there are notaries out there, right, that are doing maybe 20, 30, 15, 20, 25 jobs a month. Happy as hell. And then you have other notaries that are doing 120 jobs a month. Yeah, the money is coming in crazy, right?
Yeah.
But they're freaking miserable.
Right.
It keeps spinning. It doesn't stop. They're stressed out. They're on the brink of burnout, right? And they're like, I got to get out of this.
Yeah.
I'm going to piss off a lot of my clients if I pull away.
Yeah.
Who's winning? Who's winning at that point? Is it the one doing 20, 25 jobs and spends a lot of time with their family, still goes on vacation and hangs out with their kids? Or is it the one that's making $15,000 a month, stressed out every goddamn day?
That's right.
And doesn't have time for even themselves to eat a damn sandwich.
There you go, bro. There you go. There you go. Now we're not downplaying high earning, you know what I'm saying? Because it takes it, like, you gotta go get it, right? But I think, I think a theme of the conversation has been like holistic business. You know what I'm saying? Like being a whole person, you know what I'm saying? And I think that I love what you're doing, man, because even hearing your story in Andre's book, the altar book, I cannot remember the one,
Black Man's Guide to the Altar.
The Black Man yes. I'm like, Donald, you're the one who narrated the book, you don't remember? But yeah, and it's so cool, man, like actually seeing the man and the person like doing this thing in business, because it's like, wow, like that brother's winning because he found out how to be a whole person, as opposed to, like you said at the beginning, like coming in with the sledgehammer, like, yo, let's get it, and it's like, and it's just fragments flying everywhere, you know what I'm saying? And people are like, yo, like, just chill out, bro. You're like, no, we're gonna win. It's like, yo, like, hold on a second, like, there's a way to use that same tool and be more efficient, you know what I'm saying? So it's really dope to see you being efficient.
I appreciate it, man.
It's really dope, really cool.
Man, I forgot I actually had an excerpt in that book.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
If you guys go pick up the Black Man's Guide to the Altar by Andre Hatchett. I have an actual passage in there. I talked about our marriage, my marriage with my wife, and how the ups and downs we went through. And me and my wife, we actually separated at one time. I think it was almost close to a year. And God blessed us, and we're still going on, and we're going on 15 years now, man.
Wow, bro.
Right.
Since that point. Wow, that's so cool, bro.
So cool. And then 2 kids later, so now we have total 3 kids.
Yes,
but it's what you want. It is what you want in this business. You get what you want. If you ask for it, don't complain once you get that shit. That's my thing. My thing is when people say, I want this, I want this, I want this, and then when they get it, they complain about that.
Yeah.
Don't be surprised if that, what do they call opportunity knocks?
Yes,
it looks like work.
Come on, man. Yeah. Yeah. No, and that's where, back to what we were talking about, it's in terms of respecting the game. It's like, yo, you can look at whoever, you know what I'm saying, a Tiger Toledo, or Andre Hatchett, whoever you plug into, like, this person is like someone that I want to model myself after in this business. I would just highly encourage you, like, to pay that person for their time and be like, yo, like, give me a peek into your day, and then ask yourself, like, do you really want that?
Yeah.
Like, do you really want that? I mean, I've talked to other voiceover artists who are knocking down, $500,000 a year in this business, and they're constantly at they're pretty much on call by major networks. I'm like, okay, Donald, knowing how you're set up and how much you enjoy, like, your family, you know what I'm saying, and your time, do you really want that, bro? And it's like, at this season in my life, actually, I don't think I want that in that way. Mm-hmm. But is it possible for me to learn from that and to really begin to, in my character and in my work ethic now, begin to build some things into my business that are able to give me something like from that table? Absolutely. Yeah. But to be like, yeah, I'm gonna come out of the gate first year in my business as a millionaire, it's like, you're probably not, because most millionaires have, spent multiple six figures on coaching and conferences and, you know what I'm saying, and failing, you know what I'm saying, and potentially other businesses like failing. Like, do you really want the problems? It's like, if you don't, then I would not cap like that. So stop, don't cap like that. That's not cute. You know what I'm saying? So 100%.
So everybody, this is the part where we go into the Q&A. So if you guys have any questions that you have for my man Donald here, man, while we're chopping it up, type it in the comment section. Bree, if you can drop Donald's information, his voice, his website, his Instagram handle, if you could drop that in there again, so everybody could stay connected with Donald. I love this conversation. I could talk to you forever. You know how we do, man. Like, I'd be in Target and me and you chopping it up, like bouncing ideas.
Yes, sir.
Donald has made some trailers for me for my romance novels. For some of you guys don't know, I have romance novels. I go by the name SK Holiday. And he's created trailers for that. And it's you can learn so much from other industries. I always say, like, when you are too entrenched in your industry, you may be missing out on a whole lot of opportunities or creativeness that's happening all around you.
Yeah.
Like, I could go to Starbucks and learn something new from Starbucks today.
That's right.
Just because of maybe a little tweak that they did. And be like, oh, that was interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe that might work for my business. A lot of people don't know, like for Steve Jobs, right? When Steve Jobs invented the iPhone or iTunes and stuff, the restaurant business had that years ago. Yeah. Because remember, when you were putting in your order, or I used to be a waiter at Olive Garden, so I know, right? I'm like, man, I was doing this way before iTunes and iPhones and stuff. We had touch screens for everything.
Yeah.
So all he did was take that model and say, I'm gonna put it into a phone.
There you go.
So you can learn so much from different industries. I'll give you another example, because we were talking about pricing a little bit too. That person that's making the high tier in that industry, and then the person that's making low tier, if you want to start making more, it doesn't have to be all the way above, at that level or above, but right. Call that company and find out what they're doing more than the one that's charging less. And I'll give you an example. My nephew was driving his car. A brick went through his windshield, right? Needed to get the windshield fixed. He called a bunch of companies. Immediately, they were giving up the price. Like, oh, yeah, what kind of make, model car you got? Okay, it's going to be $175, right? So he wound up calling. I said, hey, call this company, which was SafeLight, right? You probably seen the commercials for them.
Yeah, man.
Bro, I kid you not. This lady took a consultative approach with everything. I said, bro, let me tell you, she is going to be like 10 times higher than everybody. Why? Because she positioned the company in a way to say, all right, well, do you have the wires that go through your windshield that actually defrost the snow? And I'm like, oh, I never thought of that. I got to go to the car to look at that, right?
100%. Yeah.
Is it attached to, is your rear view mirror attached to the middle, or is it attached to the? So she asked so many of these questions. So almost to the point where it's like, okay, if I hire them, I know it's going to be done correctly.
Yeah.
My nephew had a beater, so he wound up going with the cheap people. But if he valued that vehicle, like if it was like a really, really nice vehicle that he really valued, he would have went with SafeLight all day long.
Right.
All day long. Because she took a consultative approach versus, oh, make, model car, this is what you get.
Yep. Yep.
So,
yep. And guess what? And both examples are okay. You know what I'm saying? Like if that's what you want to monitor, like I said before, if you want to be a low ticket, high volume, that's cool. Mm-hmm. And that comes with some things. But also if you want to be more exclusive, high ticket, more consultative approach, that's cool as well. But you also have to respect what comes along with both. You know what I'm saying? So that's spot on, bro. That's so spot on.
Yeah, somebody said they're your neighbor out there, man. They said, hello, neighbor.
Oh, cool. Is that Melinda? Okay, Melinda Smith.
You got some other people here in Florida, man. So.
All right. Yeah, I'm in Orlando, Florida. So I'm Central Florida.
Nice.
That's cool, Melinda. All right. Cool.
No, bro, I wanted to thank you so much for being on this, man. I can't wait to edit this. We're gonna put out all your information so people can stay in contact with you. Maybe do some commercials for, there's notaries that want to roll out their own commercial, their own little, trailer and stuff.
Yeah.
I've used your services many times. I love it. I'm gonna continue. Matter of fact, Rise of the Smart Notary 2 is coming out, so you already know I'm gonna need. People like the consistency. I know that.
Yeah.
So we're gonna stay consistent with it.
You got it.
Oh man, it's Donald again.
You got it.
Dude,
I've been getting messages. And improved Donald. Yeah.
Dude, I've been getting messages like I love his voice. Oh my God, I can't believe I actually talked to Donald Gadson.
Oh, that's cool, man. That's
so
really cool.
You're a freaking celebrity and shit, dude.
Hey man, look, you know, we're putting in the work, you know, and being consistent, and we'll take what comes along with that, you know what I'm saying? And bro, I really do, man. I really appreciate you, man. And I remember watching you and on Andre's was it his fifth year anniversary?
5th year anniversary,
yeah. And it's, I mean, y'all went on for like 7-8 hours, just kind of talking about old stories and stuff. And man, like it's really dope to see, even over the last, I think for me, the last 6 months, like your evolution. And I have like a team behind you and stuff where, you know, like Bree. Yeah. And I remember whenever she called, she was, yes, this is Mr. Toledo's assistant. I'm like, really? You gotta
flexing a little bit. I'm just flexing a little bit.
Hey man, look, I love that energy, because what it shows is it shows growth, you know. But then I also see how you take care of your people. And obviously, man, like, you know, your growth as a husband and a dad, man. So it's just cool, man. Like,
yeah, Bree's a freaking rock star, dude. Like she keep me on point with so much. Like, salute to my girl Bree. And speaking of OG Andre Hatchett, he's doing the season finale tomorrow. So this is actually a double bubble.
That's big, man.
This is the double bubble. We got you, and then we're closing out the season with Andre Hatchett, the OG in the notary game, man. So it's like it's a double bubble, and I'm just blessed to be in this space.
That's so dope,
blessed to have great notaries on here that I can serve and offer this knowledge. And for me, I'm already wealthy. You know what I'm saying? I'm already rich. I'm already wealthy because I'm doing exactly what I want to do when I want to do it. Nobody can tell me any different. Yeah. What are you gonna say? Because I don't have $1 billion in my account? I'm already wealthy.
Right.
I'm rich. I made it.
Right.
I made it.
Yeah.
So
I like that energy, man.
Meeting great people like yourself, man.
It's contagious,
Andre Hatchett, the Black Wealth Renaissance. You know, all these guys that were on here. The Donnie Bryant's, the Renee Dentman, all these great people, Tech being on here, man. Like, you can't tell me I didn't make it. I made it.
Hey, man, and that's something else. I know we're wrapping up. That's something else that for me has been an honor. When you talk about like the Renaissance, like it's real, bro. It's real, and we're all doing it in different ways.
Yeah.
But for me, man, like to be able to be a part of that, and like to really see people like to my left and my right, and it's like, wow, people are really winning, like in a holistic way, man. Like that's dope, man. That's really dope. So keep at it, sir. Keep at it. I'm proud of you, man.
Tell people how they can find you, brother.
Yeah, man. DonaldTheVoice.com. It's a website, or on all social media at Donald the Voice. I think on Facebook it's Donald.TheVoice. I'm not highly.
Bree just put it on there. Donald.
Thanks, Bree.
Yeah.
I'm not highly active on the Facebook tip, but I need to be more. But Instagram for sure is like my go-to choice. Anybody who's listening, I'll give you a 25% off of any service that I provide if you mention you heard this on the Notary War Room.
Nice.
Just say, yo, like, hey, like, shoot me an email at hello@donaldthevoice.com or DM me, whatever the case is. Hey, Donald, what's up with that 25% off? You got it, and I'll take care of you as a part of the Notary War Room family. So
I love it, because this shit is going on Spotify, YouTube, Google Podcasts, iTunes. It's going everywhere, bro. So appreciate that, man. Thank you for showing my audience love like that, man. And blessings to you, your wife, and your child, man. I wish you guys the very best. Happy cash flow to everybody. You guys just tuned into the Notary War Room, featuring my man, Donald Gadson Jr., the voice, the narrator behind Rise of the Smart Notary. Be on the lookout for Rise of the Smart Notary 2 Evolution. He's going to be doing the Audible on that one too. You heard?